Hey y'all, Big Tim here. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Old School and Bass with Big Tim. Man, there's a lot to talk about today. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was something that just happened today. Major League Fishing announced that Phoenix Boats is now going to be the title sponsor of the BFLs. And that's pretty big. You know, there's a lot of guys in BFLs that are running Phoenix Boats, and they'll probably be a really big, lucrative contingency program for them. That's pretty big. Probably might be something comparable to what we had for Triton Gold. Triton Gold used to pay $7,000 if you won a tournament over, I think it was 100 boats. And most of the BFLs will be over 100 boats. So you could win the prize money from the BFL, which was generally about $2,000 or so, and maybe an additional $7,000. And I'm just guessing, but I think that's probably what it'll be. I think it'll probably be about $5,000 or $7,000. That's huge, you know, to win a tournament for everyday weekend angler, and to be able to win anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 for a day's fishing. Man, that's huge. So hopefully that pans out. I think that's going to be a big, big deal. Now, I know a lot of the Ranger boat guys are screaming because they'll still have the Ranger Cup. Probably won't pay as much as what Phoenix will. So we'll see about that. Another thing that happened this week is Major League Fishing announced the creation of a new tournament. They're calling it the Heavy Hitters. And for the Heavy Hitters, what's going to happen is they're going to take guys that had the heaviest catches from each of their tournaments. I don't know if it's top 5 guys in each tournament or what, but somehow or another, they're going to come up with a certain number and put those guys that caught the biggest bass in that particular tournament and put them in another tournament, and they're calling it the Heavy Hitters. Now, there's been a lot of joking about it, and I admit I'm bad about it. My joke was, you know, so that means somebody that catches a 2-pounder versus a 1-pounder is going to get in the Heavy Hitters. Now, we'll see how it plays out, I should say. But this could be a different, interesting thing. Obviously, MLF is realizing that something has to change a little bit, you know. It's just not as exciting as they'd hoped it would be. There has to be some big fish shown on TV, and the more the better to get people's interest. Otherwise, the only sponsors going to be interested in them are, you know, people that make Ned baits. And now, working in a tackle store, I can tell you that the Ned bait stuff is really what's selling the most. But you'll catch some big fish on Ned baits, but that's not their intended purpose. Their intended purpose is more fish, not bigger fish. And for years, the industry's been about more, bigger fish. So hopefully that'll get some drive going about bigger fish, because, you know, all of us that have fished the 5-fish traditional format, that's what we're looking for, the 5 biggest fish. And being old school, that's the name of the show. I like 5 fish, the 5 biggest fish. Another thing that's happening is I'm a little disappointed. I found out that Major League Fishing is not going to honor their part of the Living the Dream package from the Federation National Champion. The Bass Federation National Championship always has the winner, the boater winner, gets a boat and truck from the Bass Federation, and all of the entry fees paid into the FLW Tour. Well, apparently, what I'm understanding now, Preston Craig is the guy that won the tournament. And we have a little connection. I don't know Preston Craig myself, but my friend Joey that I fish with, I think he actually was his co-angler at Lake Cumberland last year. But anyway, Preston Craig won this, and on his Facebook page, he's saying that FLW is not going to give him 100% of the entry fees into the Bass Pro Tour. He said it's going to cost him about $16,000, which is a lot of money for an everyday working guy. I honestly believe that somewhere along the line, this will all work out, and Preston Craig will probably get his entry fees paid for by FLW or a sponsor of FLW. I think he'll end up getting in there. I think it just creates too much bad publicity if they don't do it. So we'll see about that. Another thing that's happening is, we just had the Thanksgiving tournament down at Lake Cumberland, and it was a miserable, cruddy weather day, and, some people really caught them. But there's another tournament happening this weekend. Leroy is having his tournament down at Holcomb's Landing. Starts at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Central Time. And who knows, I may figure out a way to make it down there. I'm still working on it. I close on Friday night, and I am off Saturday. It would probably be very difficult for me to work till 9 p.m. on Saturday night, or on Friday night, and then drive down there and catch a couple hours sleep and get up and fish. We're trying to work out the details. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. We'll see. I'd love to. The weather's looking good. We got a couple 50-degree plus days, and it sounds like a lot of fun. I talked to a couple guys that have done this tournament in the past. $100 entry fee, Holcomb's Landing, Lake Cumberland. Sounds like a good time. But I want to thank each and every one of you, because this channel hit another milestone. And I know it seems like I'm saying I'm hitting milestones all the time, but they really are milestones for me, because we just hit 10,000 views. We're a little over 10,000 now. I think I hit 10,000 on Monday. And it just, it crushes me to think that people have actually been interested enough to talk about bass fishing and hear what I've got to say about it over 10,000 times. So thank you very much for all of that. It's been great. Your support is really keeping me going. And I'm happy to announce that on Monday at 9 a.m., I'm going to be dropping the first of the Truth Behind the Trophy series. And I'm decided to go ahead and do them chronologically. And when I say chronologically, I'm going to start with my regional wins. Later on down the road, I may drop back into the past and talk about some of the little small club wins. But more importantly, what I wanted to talk about was the regional wins, because they have some side stories to them. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, thanks for watching, first and foremost. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you want to share this stuff with your friends, I know a lot of us don't want to share information with our buddies because we don't want our buddies to be as good a fishermen as we are. I'm a little different. I always figure that I can tell you exactly what I'm doing, but nobody's going to do it exactly the way I do. So I don't mind telling people what I use and how I'm using it, kind of where I'm using it. Now, I won't tell you the exact place. I know a lot of people watch videos and try to figure out exactly where somebody's fishing, or look at pictures to figure out exactly where somebody's fishing. And, if you've got to do that, okay, whatever. It's always better to go find your own fish, because spots don't always produce. But if you know how to catch them, or if you know how to find them, that always works. But again, thanks for watching, and please share. The more views we get, the more subscribers we get, the better the channel will be. But anyway, thank you very much, and hopefully you enjoy next week's Truth Behind the Trophy series. And we'll see you next time.